Coming to you live from the Business RadioX studio, it's Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by IDS, an award-winning digital marketing agency that delivers integrated marketing solutions for franchisors, franchisees, and franchise development teams. Learn why over 75 brands depend on IDS's team of dedicated marketers and client service professionals to deliver a strong ROI on their marketing investment. Go to idsfranchisemarketing.com for a complimentary digital audit and consultation.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Franchise Marketing Radio. I'm your host, Rob Ganley, and it's great to have you back. Today, we have a very interesting guest. We have the privilege of exploring the world of fine, fast casual dining and franchising. Our guest today is Grégoire Jacquet. He's a French-trained chef with a unique vision, and we're going to dig into that. In 2002, Grégoire brought to life a remarkable concept, a local restaurant that combines the quality of fine dining with the convenience of quick carryout. And we're going to dig into that because that is not an easy thing to achieve. His creation, Grégoire, became the first fine, fast, casual restaurant concept launching in the Bay Area, offering gourmet sandwiches, salads, delectable potato puffs. We're going to dig into what those are, and scratch-made French fries, all served in custom-designed takeout boxes, which again is by design. We'll talk about those boxes. And after 2 decades of delighting the local community in Berkeley, California, Grégoire is now expanding its horizons by offering franchising opportunities across the country. Today, we're going to dive in deep. With all that said, it's great to have you back, Grégoire. Welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me again, Rob. It's nice to talk to you always. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's always fun because you've been working at this a long time, right? And a few years back, you say, well, I want to get this, I want to go bigger and broader, right? And you had this bigger goal, but you've been at it a long time. And so you've perfected it over a long period of time. And I know the last time we talked, you were just getting started in getting things ready for the franchise, launching it, and now here we are a bit later, about a year later or so. And so I'd love to hear what's going on. I will say I talk to many different brands, many different restaurant concepts, and this is very unique and unique in a good way, all good ways. And I love diving into it because it's a marketing masterpiece in my mind. So I love talking about what you're doing there. So tell me more, tell the audience a little bit of how things got started. What was that driving passion all those years ago that got you started in this concept?
When it's 40 years in the making, because I've been cooking for 40 years. So I started at 14 and now I'm 54. So, the concept really started with me wanting food that was not available in my area at the time. Coming off from the Ritz-Carlton, I had quit because they couldn't give me what I wanted and came back to the Bay Area with my wife. I was looking for something to do. The best thing would be, was to create a restaurant just because I didn't want to work for anybody else. And around there was no takeout. It was, pizza or Mexican food or really Chinese food. That was the only available food, the takeout. And it was not available all the time, only available when the restaurant was open. So basically what I wanted to do is create a restaurant with great food, takeout, that was available as much as possible all day long. Usually we were open from 11 to 9 at the time. So that basically what I wanted to do. And I wanted to, the food to be really 5-star, because I just eat great food and I wanted to eat great food. And it was missing in the area, definitely.
Well, I love when you're talking because I'm laughing to myself because I think of my grandma. I think of my Italian grandma or my French grandma, right? Just that great food that you might grow up with or in your town or in your area that it's known for. And it's just done. It's just, you just eat. It's a way that we relate to each other. It's how we spend time together. And it's important to all of us, right? And so then you look around one day and you realize, but there's no easy way to do this. Other than that, there's no quick way to go do it if you're not going to cook it all. And so this is where this is born. And I'm thinking, you're right. It's a huge there can be a huge difference. You can't find, it's the same old stuff, right? The pizza delivery or this or that.
Yeah.
And it's like, great if that's what you're in the mood for, but there's so much more to food. So anyway, and being healthy. So we're going to get into all how you're doing that, but tell me a little bit more. How do you do this thing called fine, fast casual? So there's two components. There's this really high quality food, not only from a taste, but from a health too. I think you're doing both. You're thinking of both things. And also this idea that you can make it available in a time frame that, it can be turned around quickly and people can come in and out and get it. And it actually will taste good whenever they take it where they're taking it, right? If it's to go, like you have to think of all these things because it's a different model than them sitting in the restaurant. So tell me more. What went into that fine, fast casual part? Like, if there's one thing you could share with me, what was it that made that challenging?
Well, years ago when I started Grégoire 21 years ago, I was the craziest in the block. I mean, people, when you talk about, food and fine food, no one thought about putting it in a box. It was just putting it on a plate and eating it at a table when the chef wanted it to be, eaten. And putting all that great food in a box was just unheard of, and people didn't think it was going to work out. And I proved it wrong. I mean, if you think about processes and if you think about techniques and if you think about the end product, you do everything in your power in order to make sure it's perfect. And starting from, cooking the food and how you cook it, by how you store it and how you finish it and how you send it to the customers, and I thought about all those processes. And that's why we really had a product that was unheard of, and people just catched on right away, and they knew it was going to be a hit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, I think, that so the effect that you produce, we talked about it before we came on the air, but the effect that you're producing, at least from, and I told you this is kind of what I picked up when it was introduced to your brand and first learned about it, is like when you figure out that you can have fine food and you can take it with you, it'll taste really good when you get there. Like that's the part I think would hold some people up. Like, oh, well, you can't do that. I mean, I'm sure it's good food, but it's not that great. Or it's good, but a lot of things are okay but you really thought through what would work in this context so that it really does deliver that value. So, okay, so you got the food tastes good. We got that. Well, what other effect does it produce? To me, it produces this effect where you want to talk about it. You want to do it over and over again. You want it to make it a regular part of your diet and your life, right? That is the other effect of being able to accomplish this. So the first part is getting people over the disbelief that you can. And then once they experience, they're like, wait a minute, this is convenient. I can do this regularly. Yep. Like I eat more healthy today than I ever have, mostly because of some of the access around me. Like I can just get great food. I go shopping more, but I really care about getting fresh food and good ingredients, right? And like if I had one, and I wish I did have one you near me, because I would come in, it would be part of my routine at just certain number of meals, right? But tell me more.
That's what people do, I mean, when I go there and, I'm spending some time, I see people that started coming to Grégoire 20 years ago, and they still coming. I mean, they come once a week, or they come once a month, or they come, once in a while, but they still have that in their daily routine. Now, when I see new customers, I can see that they're coming back the next day because they are so surprised and so amazed by this, these wonderful restaurants. And I mean, I see the reviews and saying, oh my God, this hole in the wall, it's just perfect. And I mean, the food that we do is so unusual and so surprising that people really are in disbelief in how can they achieve this quality of product, So we really touch them when they come in. It doesn't look we don't want to be a sweet green. We don't want to have that flashy effect of corporate looking business. We want to be a neighborhood restaurants. Yeah. That's what we are in Berkeley, and people look at it like it's a find. It's their find, and it's the place that they feel like they want to hone. They want to share with people because it's their find, and so that's we really bank on that.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm not anything close to a chef, but I have a friend, and he's an amazing cook, right? Like he'll just whip things up, and and he'll tell me what he did, and then he'll tell me what I should taste, what I might taste, and I started to like the idea of a palate, right? It was not up my alley. Like I didn't know all the ways, but it's amazing because if you really know what you're doing, you can. When you said surprise, that's the thing I'm going for here. That's what I mean. So you eat something and you're like, wow, that was like I've never had something like that before. Oh, and what was that again? What was the ingredients? What did they do? And that's when you've got them. That's when you say, I want more of that, right?
That's the thing. You talk about the ingredients and that's it. It always starts with the ingredients. Okay. So you have to find the right ingredients. You have to find the right flavor. And then you have to know how to marry them together. And if you can achieve all this, then you have a good product. Yes. But a lot of business now, they don't have product changes all the time, because of season, because of, availability. So you need to find the right product, the right vendors that know what you need and what you want. And then you need to be able to put it together right. Because you can screw up a meal just by not how to know how to cook it.
Yeah, one thing.
So there's a lot of ingredients in order to make that final dish a success.
Yeah. So we're going on and on here about how amazing the food is, right? But we're talking about a business too, right? So here's the thing. Here's the thing I love talking about with this is that how do you do that? How does someone like me start that hole in the wall? And by the way, rustic. When I think of European and I think of like it's just really cool bakery or like that, it's like that's the effect, right? I love that. Yep. But so in terms of okay, so how do you pull that off? You're obviously bringing all these years of experience as a chef, and obviously pulling off that culinary experience the way we just said requires you do some things a certain way with intent. And so how does someone start a business like this in their neighborhood and pull that off? And you have an answer. You actually had to think that through so you could maintain the same effect, whether it's in Colorado or it's in the Bay Area. So tell me a little bit about how you're achieving that effect, a little bit about the hub and spoke or the hub concept that you have.
Yeah. So, it took me, quite a while to think about how can I recreate these emotions in different area. And training the franchisee, because changing the menu quarterly is a big deal, is really a big deal. You need to, do all the preparations and you need to organize, you need to buy, you need to do so much in order to make this happen. Actually, right now we're changing the menu. We're going to the fall menu on September 15th. And we're creating all the recipe right now in the back, and it's a daunting process. But for them, they won't have to do this because we'll do everything in the central kitchen that'll be located about 2 hours away from the franchise. So right now in the Bay Area, we'll limit the to about 30 to 40 franchise here with a one Bay Area hub, and we'll create all the product, all the preparation will be created in the central kitchen. We'll process everything, we'll weigh everything, we'll pre-cook everything, we'll portion all the sauces and everything, and the franchisee will just have to put in an order at night for all the prepared ingredients, and we'll deliver it to them the next day. So, and then at their level, they'll finish up all the product, finish up the sandwiches, bake the bread. Bake the like grill the bread or fry the puffs or fry the French fries. Just finish up the product and then serve it. That's it.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing in the sense that you can focus on other elements of the business and really build that sort of anchor inside that local area that you're in. But something else kind of clicked in my mind as you were describing this. And I'm thinking about the Bay Area, right? Because the Bay Area is as international, I guess, as you can get. So you have a lot of people there, a lot of different taste buds, a lot of different probably inputs that you get, right? And you've been doing this for years and years. So okay, that's the Bay Area, and it's really cool the way you described where you're going there. But you obviously are also heading into other markets. So tell me, like I'm in Colorado, different, definitely different. I wish the Bay Area food was here, right? We can't be as good as the Bay Area for food, but we had some good food here and there. But
Yeah.
how would you take that personality of the market that you're in, the local area that you're in? And it seems like you would probably customize just a little. There's some staples that are going to be consistent. But as you said, as the changing seasons and the market you're in affects, I'm sure, the approach you take. So tell me a little bit about that because I think it's also unique from a business opportunity point of view. It really it gives the local area, local owner really even more ownership, right? Like I'm here in Colorado a lot because I like the mountains. I like the lifestyle here. I did pick here on purpose, but the reality is, so there's a passion that we all have for our area that we're in sometimes.
Yes.
So how would you adapt a little, or don't you, have to? How would
Yeah,
that
I
work?
mean, opening a new market is not a small potato. I mean, it's a big deal. Just because you need to find out, if your product and the product are available over there. The one that you use casually, like all your cheeses and all the things that are imported. So that's number one. Number two, you need to find farmers. You need to find vendors that can, bring the product to your culinary hub, and then and then people are different in every area, so you need to find out what they're like. You go around and you investigate of, maybe if you're in Texas, you put more meat or barbecue, or you're using different ingredients and different style of cooking in your in different area you are in. But definitely, yeah, there is a lot of work to do. And this is a great thing about having this type of franchise. It's you can really tailor your area, the culinary experience in every area you're in. It's and use this ingredients and people in order to do that. So
Yeah, no, I think that's unique. I mean, I think that would provide somebody the ability to really just embrace what we've been talking about, which is really you want people to have that feeling, oh, that was amazing. Like, how did you do that with this dish or this, these ingredients? So
yes.
again, so that's awesome. So let's go back now to the box because I know that we talked a little bit about this, and I know it's a minor thing. You think, it's just the box. They just put it in the food and how it goes, but you took it a little bit further than that. You felt it was important to leave an impact of sorts, and you and I talked about the marketing, sort of the marketing aspect of that when it transfers to people. But tell us about the box. Tell us again how this approach works when you buy some food. What is the experience like?
Well, as I said, it's really, you said so. It's an experience. And years ago when I opened Grégoire, even before I opened the door, when I was working on the concept of what we were going to be doing, and I wanted to do takeout. I really looked at all the operations and from A to Z and to the table of my customers and see how can I really make it an experience, as you said, and looking at all the takeout container that were available then, it was nothing that really was good enough for my food. So I decided to go and learn a bit more about packaging and boxes and we finally designed a box with the right cardboard, I say, in order for it to be, heat resistant and grease resistant, and in order to keep the food, the way I wanted it to be served, because it's something to go to a restaurant and have a beautiful plated dinner that's out of right of the kitchen, but it's something else to have some food put in a bag, in the box, in a bag, and drove 5 or 10 or 20 minutes away to your dining room and then open it and find some food that's wilted or some food that's not up to standard. So I wanted
I'm
to.
laughing here because I'm thinking of a date. Like I'm thinking this might be good enough if I said someone, I'm going to cook, I'm going to have you over. And then you have this beautiful box in the middle of the table. And it's like, here we go. We're going to serve this beautiful thing. It's almost, you could get away with that, right? It's the
I had
experience of
people
the, yeah.
totally. I had people, inviting people over, and right before they come in, they would buy my food and then put it in platters and serve it to their guests, saying,
Yeah.
not saying anything where they got it, or so people would think that they cooked it for themselves.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
just delicious stuff. So that's awesome. All right. So great marketing, right? And again, so for me, I always equate it back to, for anyone listening, to Apple products, because they love their packaging, and we do too. I think it's cool. It's sleek. It denotes quality. We keep the boxes around just in case, right? I don't know if we toss them right away. But again, all that translates into good marketing, good conversation, just noticing the box. You're like, what
Did
is
I
that? Oh, it's,
did I ever told you about the Google story?
no, share that.
No, Google. It was about 15 years ago. I get a phone call from one of my vendor and say, "Oh, Grégoire, tell me how can I get your box?" And I'm like, "Well, I own the patent. I have designed the box. I own the cutter, and that's the only way you can get the box is through me. But I won't give it to you because it's my box." Oh, okay. And I hang up, and few days later, I get another call from another vendor asking me the same question. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, you guys want my box so much. Oh, well, Google asked us to find out where that box was made and if they could get the box. And I'm like, what? Google? It's like, yes, Google. So I just found out that they were trying to get my box to put the food that they did at the Google plan. They had all those restaurants and stuff, and they had all those killer eating great food, but they didn't have a product to take the food from the kitchen, give it to them, and for them to go back to their desk eating the food. So they found out about my box, and they wanted me to sell them my box. And I told them that, I straight told them, it's like, there's no way you're going to get my box. Okay. Because this is my branding, and I won't give away my branding. But if you want, I can design you one. Okay. And, I'll sell it to you. They didn't go for that.
They didn't go for that. That's funny, isn't it? Well, imagine the money, right? The money they've got to throw around, but that's, the importance of the quality of the box, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but you go, anyone who's ever, like, I haven't been to Google, but I've only heard good things about many of their buildings, and they spare no expense to be beautiful and have a beautiful environment. So this was just one of those details that aligns with that idea. But it's anyway, good stuff.
Years ago, they would not only take all our employees, because Google started, building this campus, and then they started hiring so many of high quality chefs for the campus. It would hurt us, definitely the fine dining area, culinary world. And then after this, they would come to me and try to steal my box. I was not a very happy guy. Yeah,
no, of course not. Yeah, there was a lot that went into that. Yeah, they'd figure out it's just a box.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Well, good stuff. Again, I wanted to bring that out because I don't know of any other brand that has a box, right? And I think that's important. A lot to be said for the marketing side of things. So if I just, for the audience sake, I would love to talk about, if someone does get started with you and launches a local restaurant, tell me a little bit about how that looks for them, and how, you've said to me earlier throughout our conversation, it took a while, right? It took 20 years of refinement and looking at details. And of course, technology has evolved. So go ahead and share a few of the details that you think make you guys unique in terms of supporting your franchisees.
Well, first of all, as a franchisee, you will not have to worry about food preparation. So that's already number one. When you build a restaurant, franchise or not franchise, you have to think about all the elements. And one of the elements is the back of the house.
Right.
And the back of the house is half of what's going on. Okay. Because then you have the front of the house. Okay. So I, with Grégoire, eliminated not only the back of the house, but also the front of the house. So you have no waiter, no wait stuff at all. And then you have no preparations. What you have is a finishing kitchen. So you just have to worry about the finishing kitchen. Ordering as a breeze, because we do all the preparation. You have an app, you order every night. Very simple. So the only thing you have to do really is take care of the customers, making sure, the food is prepared right, and go out and really be an ambassador of the brand. And so I want community partners. I don't want chefs. I don't want, this is what I want. And it's very straightforward. You really focus on what makes you happy. It's making people happy.
Yeah. And I think that, when I've interviewed other restaurant brands, and one of the key themes always that comes up is, when you're running a restaurant business, unless you're not running it, you're passively owning it maybe. But if you're running a restaurant business, you're in the people business, It's definitely something where you should want that, that's part of it, right? You want to interact with your employees, with your guests, and you want to continue to, and then of course the community and other businesses around you. So it is a people business, and you have to have the time. So back to, you take out all the day-to-day stuff that would have normally been full-time. You got the back office, you got hiring, you've got accounting, that's some marketing. We've talked about the box, but there's some blocking and tackling with marketing, right? You need website and different things. Tell us a little bit about some of the support. What are some of the foundational things that everybody needs related to like websites and digital marketing and things?
Well, on the digital, I'm a tech guy, so I really like tech things.
Gray area helps, right?
Yeah. But I've been looking at a lot of things to make the restaurant a bit more easy to work for the franchisee. Starting with accounting. You talked about accounting. That was my pain point when I started, putting the invoice in and doing all these, numbers and learning how to work QuickBooks and things like this is not my thing. I really don't like that. But so I have partnered with some company that does everything for us. Actually takes all the data from the POS system. I have already a software system that does all the inventory and all the purchasing from our culinary hub. So this is all automatic. It's going to be taken away from them. So the only thing they're going to have to do when it comes to accounting, it really is looking at number, looking at P&L, looking at sales, and paying bills. Paying the bills. That's it. You just have to pay your whoever you buy food from, which can be us or PG&E, or just paying your monthly bills. So that's from the accounting side. Okay. When it comes from the front of the house with website, we take care of all the website. We have everything, even the POS. The POS system, we take care of the POS. We do the change menu. So for us, it's easy to do it from the back of the house. They won't have to do POS or website. We have an app for online ordering. They won't have to take care of that at all. It's all, everything is automated. Everything goes to the POS system. All the deliveries, delivery app is also integrated in the POS system, so that rewards, it's all automated. Gift cards, it's all automated. Everything is automated.
Yeah. Marketing is, when it comes to the restaurant business or retail, there's some great opportunities there, and you've got them all in place. To basically what it comes down to, right, is staying in touch with folks, right, knowing what they like, right, keeping track of what's happening in your store and who's enjoying what. You mentioned also the P&L stuff you mentioned earlier. I think that there's something to point out there too, is that when you can just look at the numbers and everything is being handled in an accurate way, you can start to be strategic too, right? About what am I seeing here? What's it telling me? And that's when you can train your franchisees to look at what that information's telling them. So you do have the marketing side. We talked about the POS. That tells you something, a lot of information about what people like. And then your P&L is informing you in other ways. And it's hard to do what I just said when you have to worry about so many other things you're juggling, right? Like quality of the dish, right? Like the ingredients, like sourcing, all these things. I can't even imagine all that went into what you just simplified, right? Really.
Yep.
But anyway, that is key. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I want to go back on the point that you had, is staying in touch with your customers. It's very important. We partner with a company also that every time someone buys something at the restaurants, we send them a text message asking them how was the food, how was everything, and they have to. If they want to say it's good, or if they want to talk to someone at the restaurant, they can actually text and tell us. And I've been, it's been really nice to have this system, just because people that are not happy, or people that have a question, or people that said, well, I didn't get this, or, this was overcooked for me, we can really deal with the customers right away. Within 5 to 10 minutes, we get a text and we can really talk to them and make it right for them. So that's also another tool that we use in order to communicate with our guests. If they don't want to communicate with us, physically, they can do it this way as well.
Well, and I agree. And the fine dining idea is about service too, right? Doesn't mean you're perfect all the time. It just means that you want it to be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And but I love that. And so you're using technology to better serve. And that's it. I always say, technology, I'm a tech guy too. So you and I could probably talk for hours about this or that, right? But if it's not affecting something in your business, a lever you can identify, right, and say, if we pull this a little harder, this is really going to have a great impact. And that's why we gather information. That's why we use technology. But if you don't have that, you probably need to focus on the things that matter most. And that's what you've done. Like when a franchise brand does that on purpose, right? Versus you're kind of out there running a restaurant, figuring out, well, maybe we ought to do that. Or I heard these guys do this. And so some sales guy called me recently and said I should do this. So it's good not to worry about any of that. Just to know this is what we have to focus on. And of course, you still have the benefit of being in a franchise brand where everybody collaborates. And I know that you'll always evolve and get more great ideas from franchisees as well. So just to kind of wrap things up, I wanted to make sure we have time, and tell me a little bit about where you're headed. I think most areas are open in the U.S. I know there's some that you're not focused on, but maybe you could share with the audience where you're headed, where you're prioritizing, and how people can get a hold of you. And also maybe whatever you want to share about the opportunity itself from a financial standpoint, right? Like what's possible with this great opportunity. Because I also see it as a multi-unit, the way you described it.
Yes.
Being totally. Very much, you own a market. So tell me a little bit about what this looks like, and we'll wrap up from there.
Well, that would be the perfect world, someone would buy an area or a city like Dallas, Texas, and then grow the market. Of course, it would be the best way. You buy 10 or 15 franchise, and then we grow the hub together. But right now we're focusing on the Bay Area. We already are where we're scouting a location in the city or around. I have very, very good candidates. I'm talking to franchisees that are really interested. Those are old customers that have been coming to Grégoire for years and years. And I still, want to make sure that they're the right one, for the brand, but it looks really promising. I really like them. So in any case, we're building the Bay Area. There is a lot of interest in the Dallas area, Austin area as well.
Okay.
And so that could be a good market. Los Angeles area is probably next, just because it's California, and I want to pull the rest of my hair out. It's a big market.
Good old California. We love California, don't we?
But but I mean, if you're a person that has has a love for food, really a love for food, and that always wanted to open a restaurant where the service is their passion, okay, where customer is their passion, employee is their passion, people is their passion, then they should really contact me, because they need to have also $240,000 available in order to open a store, which is not much for a fine dining establishment.
No,
Usually,
that's the point. Yeah.
If you want a fine dining restaurant, you pull out at least $1 million. You need front kitchen, you need a back kitchen, you need the front of the house, you need back of the house, you need a lot more than $240,000.
I feel like you deliver the same. All right, I could be overstepping. I know there are restaurants that are much larger, maybe, different experiences, right? Those are niche players, but I feel like you give someone almost that. Like that's, you could be as proud about it. You could love your food. The experience is top notch. It isn't they go there and hang out for a couple hours or whatever that might be, but it is a similar effect. But a much different, like you said, it's a huge expense difference, a big different investment, right? If you go into a larger restaurant model. But I that's what I love about this. So it's like you can't find what you're doing anywhere. And I think from a local point of view, it's you can have the same effect as you would with any successful franchise brand that does fast casual, except you've got this fine component for those that would rather have that kind of business at a much different price tag, but still have the same upside, bigger upside maybe. It have more, maybe smaller location, or smaller, more units. But the point is that you can do the same thing financially, and maybe much simpler.
Yeah, even when it comes to the location, that to have a fine dining restaurant, you need 2,000 square feet. You need or more. With Grégoire, 500 square foot, you can really pump it out and make $1 million or above. So really is it's all open. It's all open canvas right there.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, share your website with our guests again, so they can hone in on that and reach out to you if there's some interest.
Yeah, so it's easy. GrégoireRestaurant.com. Let me spell it for you. GREGOIRE restaurant, RESTAURANT. Some people don't know how to spell restaurant still. But anyway,
no worries, got it.
But and if you want the look at the franchise website, which I advise you to, there's a lot of things for you to look and learn about franchising, because I learned about franchising. I didn't know about franchising much, before I started, wanting to grow this way. So you go to my website, franchises, gfranchise.com. So that's an easy one, gfranchise.com. Okay.
That's an easy one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Call me. My number is 510-455-0494. I'm always here and available for anybody that wants to talk to me.
It's a pleasure. And a lot of my guests do that. And I always tell people, take them up on it. These guys are brilliant guys. They're going to talk to you about business, and they've been doing this for so long, and they have such an amazing model. You learn every time you speak to someone. And franchising, it's so much about being in business, not by yourself, but for yourself, right? And there's so much skin in the game on both sides. It's a wonderful relationship that happens. And I, every brand that I work with, I respect the industry. It is a great way for people to get into business. Just about finding the right fit. And for a lot of people, this would be a cool fit. This would be a very cool fit. So with that, I appreciate you having you on the show today, Grégoire. And I hope to have you back again, hopefully in about a year. We'll keep, there you go. What the puff? Yeah, I see his shirt.
Long live the puffs.
That's it. I love
the potato puffs.
You do not have to twist my arm for those. All right. Well, I appreciate you again. And to our listeners, we hope you gained some valuable insights today. And thanks again for listening.
Robert, thank you for having me over. It's always a pleasure. Anytime, please. Thank you.
You got it. Appreciate you.
Bye.